what we ended up with is, rather than each of us developing our own web portal, is we went to a common web portal. We competitively bid that based on an extensive set of requirements. The 4 owners of that web portal are down the left-hand side. IBM won that and built that service. That went live in March and April of 2010. And we have customers using it. We have reps using it. ERCOT will be using it, and we see envisioning long-term that they will actually take that over and authorize third parties. We're building and working towards that. But this avoided it. Think of it as, if you're an individual customer, it's not that big a deal. But if you own 30 Shell gas stations across the state, instead of having to go to 4 different websites to pick up the data and put up with 4 different working availability times, 4 different potential interface issues, even if they're supposed to be the same, you just go to one. You go to the Smart Meter Texas portal and you get it. The same thing's true for a rep, where they have customers all across the state. They can go to one place to get all their detailed usage data. They don't have to go to 4 different reps to get this. Some of the functionality that goes in there is the interval data, the high-end messages, the meter attributes that's out there, and meter provisioning, and customers can see the detailed usage. They can initiate some demand response. It impacts them through settlement, and eventually we're going to get to customer messaging. We'll send them messages via this Texas portal. How this works in the home area network, we use Zigbee Home Smart Energy Plus network. You can go into either a control station or you can talk directly to devices, including smart thermostats that could be up on the wall. Water heaters, electric water heaters is a big thing down here. Pool pumps, big usage factor as you go through this. So you hit the big 3 there: electric water heaters, pool pumps, and compressors for air conditioning. And the idea is that they can communicate, talk back and forth. It's near real time, and this is where, if you're putting an in-home display device in the house, you could see your usage on an ongoing basis. I just keep mine magnetically attached to the refrigerator. My boys love to go by and tell me I'm using 7 cents or $1.50 an hour of electricity. This is some of the advantages. I've talked about some of these, but in moving into the intelligent grid side, other than the advanced metering system, we're really expecting to clearly reduce SAIDI. We're expecting to, longer term, be proactive in our information sharing with the customer, such that you would not have to go home and call us to know that electricity is out. If we know the electricity is out because the system told us, then we're going to proactively notify you and try to give you an estimated time of restore so you can adjust your schedule accordingly and be aware. This is our communication, Tier 1 through Tier 4. The last tier is the Zigbee that I've already talked about. We use RF for the last inch. We use Tier 2 is cellular and Wi-Fi for this level, and then finally Tier 1 from generally a takeout point is located in the substation. We either tie it into our own fiber optic network using Sonnet or OC, and sometimes we use high-speed microwave depending upon the location if we don't have fiber buried in the ground. These are very complex systems as you put them together. The big key is the meter system. In our case, we chose Zytron. In the case of the MDM, we chose E-meter. We're very pleased with the strategic alliance we formed with those vendors. In addition to IBM, we've subsequently added Motorola because of the communication. And you tie the different parts together. It is not a piece of cake. It takes some real effort and thought to get this together. Our project team, after the pilot was approved, or the pilot went through, built a case, and then we moved forward, and we pushed near 100 people on that project team. Last thing is what I'll call proactive notification. I talked about it briefly, but the communication outbound is that if we know that the power is out because either a sensing system told us or a meter told us, philosophically, we would like to share that information with the impacted users. But there's lots of challenges to get that right. There's challenges of getting the right customer data. There's challenges of getting clean data from the field. And there's challenges of simple things like knowing what a single-phase customer, which phase he's on, A, B, or C. And then over on the right-hand side, once you determine that, after you go through the analytical engine, is all the different methodologies. Each customer prefers to be communicated with in different ways, all the way down to being told on their phone, being a website, coming on to our website and looking it up, being on a voice VRU unit. But our intent here is so they don't have to call us. We're going to be proactive and notify them. We also have a change in our inbound communication potential, but I didn't display that in this slide. With that, Jesse, I'm going to close down and turn it back over to you.
Thanks, Bob. Great stuff. I really appreciate that. So let me ask this. We had a number of questions about the business case and the value streams. And I'm going to combine two of them and one kind of general question and one specific example. The general one, how many business cases and value streams, do you consider or did you consider in, constructing this case? And did that include future operating expenses? And as you're balancing which approach to take? So that's the general one. And Jeff, that might be a good one for you and perhaps for Bob as well. A specific one, did you calculate the value of this additional availability and the shorter outages as you made your business case? I'll let either one of you jump in.
Well, I'll take a stab at it first, and Jeff might share with other utilities. Jeff, if that's okay with you.
Sure.
You asked for a specific one, and I've talked about or alluded to it in this, is reduced truck rolls. So we had reduced truck rolls, the reduced staff that would be associated with that, the reduced capital expenditure for buying trucks because they're not being used as much, and potentially the reduced management because you don't have as many, many people involved in that. All of that was built into our rate filing for the advanced metering system when we put it up there, and that's just one of maybe 17 or 18 major levels. I mean, eliminating meter reads, eliminating meter reading travel, eliminating meter reading systems, manual systems to go around and do that. All of those were built into it also as an idea. However, I will say that just based on the savings for the wire company, you couldn't justify this. The benefit also comes to the society is that by knowledge you had gained power. So you are able to control through, you have now clear knowledge of your usage and can adjust it accordingly. And without the wires company infrastructure to provide this data, none of these additional societal benefits would be available. So we did emphasize the benefits to the society, including the potential for avoided power plants.
Thank you. Jeff, did you want to jump in for a minute or two before we wrap up?
Yeah, I'd just like to say that this whole area of business benefit and attributing it to the right source is really more of an art than a science. And many cases, you can only really initially take into account a certain number of benefits, but there are multiple benefits, whether it's, as Bob mentioned, outages. You may also have an increase in customer service calls, but they're going to be different types of calls. Your maintenance could be improved as you continue to sweat your assets because you have better information on them. And, of course, we don't really know the cost or the savings related to having a green environment. So you have to kind of pick your battles and pick the metrics that you're going to focus on and then drive the implementation towards that. But distributing the benefits and the costs is really a kind of an art.
Thanks, Jeff. The only thing left is for me to say a very sincere thank you to our guests, to Geoffrey Jew from IBM, to Bob Frazier from CenterPoint for joining us today and sharing their insights, and to say thank you to you as well for joining us today. Please watch Smart Grid News for the announcement of our next Lessons from the Real World webinar, and I hope to see you back here then.